All right, this is lesson 48, operations with two or more functions, okay? So function is a math word that we use to represent like a math machine. We put ingredients in the math machine and we get an output, right? Remember that whole thing? So they're called functions, right? What's that?
I said with the nails and the cake.
Right, you put ingredients for cake in, you should get a cake out. When you put a number into this function, you should get another number out, or it might be the same number, okay? But we have different functions. Some functions are like a certain name, and then there's another name for another function, and then there's another name for another function. There could be as many functions as you want. So the way we name functions in math is we use this letter. It looks like this, f of x. Okay, we say this f of x. Eyes up here. Eyes up here. We say this f of x. This is the name of a function. Okay, so how do you say this again?
F of x.
Okay. There could be all sorts of names. We could use any letter. We could use g of x is another one. We could use h of x, okay, t of x, okay, and then, yeah, because what this is saying is that this function, f of x, means that the name of the function is f, and the ingredient we're putting in is x, okay, which means we could put any ingredient in as x. Does that make sense? Okay, so the function of x, which means the function of any ingredient you put in, okay, so the ingredients are the numbers we put in, all right? Sometimes we could combine two functions, okay? So let's say one function, let me describe this in real life terms. Like let's say I put ingredients for cake into one machine. And then there's another machine that makes muffins, okay? Okay, makes muffins. You know, little muffins. You follow me so far? What if I like took the two machines apart and I added them together so that when I put ingredients for cake in, they go into the muffin pan. What do I get?
Muffins.
Cakes.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes, right? Cupcakes. You following me? Does that make sense, everyone? So sometimes you can add ingredients into one machine or combine two machines, we add them together, and we can make cupcakes. Does that make sense? All right. Or you could, in math, you could subtract them. You could do all sorts of things. So. Or we have two machines. Let's say there was one machine that, let's say, if you go to like a car company and they're building cars, there's one machine that takes the metal and cuts it, okay, and puts it into shape, okay? That's one machine. There's another machine that takes metal and sands it and paints it, okay? What happens if I get the two machines together? Well, two machines together will give me a finished piece of metal that's ready to put on the car. Does that make sense? All right. So that's the concept. We're adding machines, putting them together, or we're subtracting. We're going to multiply. So it's real basic. I'll show you how that works. Here are the steps. Did you all write down the steps? Yeah, we did. Okay, so here we go. Numbers 1 and 2. Watch carefully. Okay, at the top of each problem, you'll have names of functions. So up here you have names of functions right here. Okay. This is telling me that f of x is equal to x plus 1, okay? That's what this function does. It takes the ingredient and then adds 1, okay? So if I put the ingredient of 1 in here, what's 1 plus 1? 2. 2, right? Does that make sense? That's the output. G of x is another function. This one tells me that it's going to be 3x plus 3, which means if I put an ingredient in, it's going to multiply by 3 and then add 3. So if I put the number 1 in here, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 3 is 6. Does that make sense? Okay, we already know that, right? Number 1 is asking, what happens if I add f of x plus g of x? What happens if I put them together? Okay. Well, what you do is you identify what you're doing, which is addition. And we said it's f of x, so I'm going to go to where it says f of x up here, and I'm going to copy down x plus 1 right underneath it into its own parentheses. And then I'm going to bring down this plus sign down. Okay, and then that says g of x is next, so I go to g of x and copy 3x plus 3 down. And I'm going to add them together. Didn't we do this kind of problem earlier this week?
Yes.
Yeah, so then we add them. X plus 3x is 4x. No, plus.
4x.
X plus 3x is 4x, okay? Then we have 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, so what this is saying is f of x, if we combine the math machines f of x plus g of x, we could get a new machine that is 4x plus 4. Okay? Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, that's number one. That's how you do number one. That's your answer, by the way. Okay, number two, it's asking us to do something else. What kind of operation are we doing? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Subtract. Okay, so that's the operation. We have two names. And look what machine it's starting with. It's starting with g of x. So I'm not starting with f of x. I'm going to start with the g of x function. So I don't want to use f of x on this particular one yet. Okay? So g of x, we're going to write down, it says 3x plus 3. So we're going to put 3x plus 3 in its own little parenthesis. And then we have a subtraction sign we have to bring down right here. Okay? And then we have f of x, which is x plus 1. Put that right there, okay? Now we just have to combine like terms, okay? Simplify. Right here, so we have 3x minus an x. What's 3x minus 1x? 2x, good. Okay, and then we got 3 minus 1 is 2, which is positive 2. Okay, so that means that when I take a machine g of x and I subtract f of x from it, or that process, I get a new machine that's 2x plus 2. Okay? Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, that's it. All right, and when would you use subtraction in real life? Well, when you make something and you need to take something off of it, right? What's an example that we could use in real life? Let's say there was a machine that picks strawberries, okay? It just goes. Can you all imagine a farm, like some sort of special machine that picks strawberries? When you get strawberries at the farm, are they usually clean? No, they come with extra stuff. They come with insects, and they come with dirt, and maybe some pesticide. Who knows? For those insects that survive the pesticide. So that's the first machine, is the picker. The second machine might be the cleaning machine, right? What happens? You take the first machine, you get strawberries that have all these extra contaminants. The second machine, you subtract the contaminants, and you get clean strawberries if you subtract. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the concept here. All right, so today's Friday. Let's have one tell twos about number 1 first today. 2 tell 1s about number 2. Ready, set, and go. Continuing here, number 3. So on number 3, look at the top now. You're given some information. So let's just focus at the top. Don't write anything down. How many different functions or math machines do I have? 3, right? We have f of x, we have g of x, and there's a third one now. It's called h of x. And they're different in this example. Or we have 2 examples. So these are the machines we get to choose from, okay? So let's look at number 3 now. Okay? What kind of operations happening? Turn to your neighbor, tell them what operation are we focusing on. Okay, addition, right? So what's the first math machine? G of x. So what do I write down, everyone? Good, so we're going to write down negative 2x plus 7. Everyone's writing this down with me. We're doing this together. Negative 2x plus 7.
Plus 4x.
Okay, good. So we have h of x, which is 4x minus 10. Good. And remember, it's inside its own parentheses, right? Always replacing the whole function. Okay, so let's work this out. What's negative 2 plus 4x?
2.
Good, 2x, right? And then we have positive 7 plus negative 10 is? Negative 3. Good. Here's our answer. So now what do we do next? We need to write our answer as saying, like, if we g of x, plus h of x, equals what? 2x minus 3.
This is easy.
Is it easy? Good.
Kind of.
Okay. Combining processes together, right? What's another process we use every day at home with your clothes, or every week? Laundry, right? What 2 machines do we have at home? Washer and dryer, right? But when we do use them together, we have clean, dry clothes. One of the machines wets the clothes and cleans them, right? The other machine what? Dries them. So when you combine the 2 processes, the 2 machines, you get what? Wash, dried clothes. Good, exactly. Okay. Excellent. That's a great real life example. Hint, hint. Okay, number 4. Number 4, let's have you do this one by yourself, okay? H of x minus f of x. So I'll kind of help you set up the problem. H of x is 4x minus 10 minus, and then we have x minus 4. Good. All in its own parenthesis. All right? I'll give you about a minute to finish that. Okay. So, look up here. Don't erase your work. Look up here. Everyone got it wrong except for one person. Actually, 2 people. So watch. What's 4x minus x? No. 4 x boxes minus 1 x box is 3x.
Wait, what?
Okay, you're not following. Shh. Listen, hey. 4x minus x, or we say 4x boxes minus 1x boxes, 3x boxes.
Oh,
We're not multiplying.
minus was 2.
Shh, quiet. And then we got, what's negative 10 minus? Look up here, this is where everyone got a mistake.
It's a positive.
Negative 10 minus negative 4, it's like we're saying negative 10 plus 4, right? Which is negative 6. Okay, so that means your final answer, if we combine h of x and subtract minus f of x, we get 3x minus 6. And this is actually an example of like the washer and dryer, right? We wash the clothes, we get a process, and then the dryer sucks the water out. It dries the clothes. We subtract that. Does that make sense? Ah, good. Okay, so we don't all... Another thing we do with functions is we also multiply, okay? So let's look at a couple more examples here. Okay, here are a new... Look at this. There's a new set of math machines here. How many math machines do we have?
4. Wait, 3. 1, 2.
3, right? 3 functions, right? So let's look at number 5. I'll do number 5 first, and then you're going to do... Alright, I'm going to do it with you. So f of x times h of x. What's the operation again? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Multiply. Okay, looking up here, we have f of x times h of x. So I'm going to take f of x, which is negative 3x minus 4, times h of x, which is 4x minus 10. Y'all got it? Okay, so now this is just like what we've been learning, right? Cover the negative 4. Let's pretend the negative 4 didn't exist. Okay. What's negative 3x plus 4x? Negative 12x squared. Good. What's negative 3x times negative 10? What? What's negative 3x times negative 10? Oh, this is supposed to be a negative 12? Okay. Okay, starting over. Okay. Kids, focus. Negative 3x times 4x is negative 12x squared. Negative 3x times negative 10 is positive 40. Oh, it's positive.
Wait, what?
On my head. Positive 30x. Sorry. I was a step ahead of you. Okay, now we have negative 4 times 4x is negative 16x. And then we have negative 4 times negative 10 is positive 40. Okay? Are we done? No. We have to combine like terms. Look up here. These are the two you have to combine. The 30 and the negative 16. Why don't you do that? Show me your answer in 30 seconds. Go. So the answer here is 30x plus 16x is positive 14x. And then bring down the rest of the problem. Plus 40. So, if you got it correct, give yourself a pat on the back. If you didn't do it correct, then please fix it. And raise your hand if you made a silly mistake just now. Oh, you silly geese. Okay, anyways. Last one. This one's all by yourself. Now you know how to do a multiplying. This one's different now. It's not the same. So h of x times g of x. And I'll let you do this whole one by yourself, okay? Okay, so h of x times g of x is going to be 4x minus 10 times the quantity of g of x, which is negative x plus 3, Okay, we're multiplying, so 4x times negative x is negative 4x squared. Yes! Most of you got that right. 4x times positive 3 is positive 12x. Negative 10 times negative x is positive 10x. And then negative 10 times positive 3 is negative 30. Combine like terms, 12 plus 10 is positive 22x. So we got negative 4x squared plus 22x minus 30 is your answer. Okay, that's what this function is equal to. So if you did it correctly, raise your hand. Okay, turn to someone next to you and give them a high five. Good job. You're like, where? All right. Self high five. Who does that? Self high five. Okay. James doesn't like self high five. No. Okay. All right. That's all right. To each his own. All right. We're all done with this lesson. So click off your iPads so you're not on your iPads anymore. And this concludes the lesson.